finally you're not facing a team that's, in that upper crust of the conference, but they did play Boise State tight. They've got a big scorer in Richard Washington. What do you see when you look at San Jose?
Well, what I see is, like you said, Washington is a very good player. They have guys who've played, they've had guys who've played minutes for them before. They're coming off a win, so obviously that's going to be helpful to them. I just was going over in my head, our team, and I think in general, what we have to do, no matter what San Jose State's going to be saying, in order for them to play well, they got to get us to turn the ball over. They have to then get some transition, and they got to rebound the ball. So no matter what for us, that's what we have to be good at. Like 3 things every game we have to learn to train ourselves and build the habits where every game we take care of that ball, and run our offense well, Brent. I'm not just saying take care of it. We got to run our offense hard and crisp. Our guys have to learn how important that is. We got to take care of the ball. We got to limit transition opportunities for the other team. That's number 2. And then we got to fight like hell on the boards. We got to learn, like, whatever it is, whoever we play, that's what we got to do, And I know that San Jose State's sitting there saying, well, that's the game plan. Those are the things they have to be good at. So, we're going to find out, how much we learned from San Diego State playing those 2 hard games, and the other ones, like you said. But again, we have 2 days of practice here to really hone in on those 3 areas so that we can make sure that we're doing what we have to do, irrespective of who our opponent is.
What would a win or 2 do to just kind of lift the morale, or are you concerned about that area?
I'm not concerned about it. You know what I mean? This isn't a 1-year project. You know what I mean? This season in general, college basketball for our guys is a 4-year experience. A season is not how many games we played, 14. Generally we would be halfway through the year. A season is not 14 games, and our guys have to learn. A league season isn't 10 games, it's usually, this year it's 20, but normally it's 18. And you have to learn that as a player, and understand that. And like I've said before, season means something, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, it's wintertime, it's summertime, sometimes things are going great for you, sometimes things aren't going that well for you, and that's what a season is. And our guys, we just went through a little bit of, that gauntlet, when if you look back, we had almost a whole nother season when we played those non-conference games. Then we went to Nevada, and started before Christmas, and hey, we were feeling really good. And now you go through what you went through. Things aren't so great. Really what it is it's just a season, and that's what makes a season. And that's where you find your resiliency, why resilience is so important. You find, what you got inside you individually, you find what you got inside of you collectively. And, that's where we're at. We're at that point in the season, 14 games in, and we're going to San Jose, and we got to really just dig down in those 3 areas that I said, and we got to do a good job coaching in terms of what are we going to do to help practice-wise to get better, help us get better in those areas. Our guys got to commit to those 3 areas, and if we do that, whether you're feeling good or you're not feeling good or whatever it is, you're doing what you have to do. And the more you get in that habit of doing what you have to do, the more you find yourself feeling pretty good. And, that's what this week's going to be. And, you go next week, Vegas beat Utah State last night. Again, nothing's going to be easy. So we really got to start to understand that and sort of embrace it. That's really what it comes down to, and have the knowledge, of what embracing it actually means, and put that together with the experiences that we've had, so far. And hopefully you'll see an uptick. We'll see an uptick here as we move forward.
I was wondering if you're going to play some of your younger guys going forward now? We saw the last game, your freshmen and sophomores really kind of had that attitude of, well, I'm not afraid of anybody. So are you going to give them some more minutes maybe?
Yeah, I think we've been asked this throughout the season, and they will going forward. I think that's been part of this process. Like I said, in a normal season, we would have had 6 or 7 other non-conference games, not against San Diego States of the world, not against these top 50 really good teams possibly, to actually do exactly what your question is, and we weren't afforded that. And as we weren't afforded it, we went into our league schedule and bang, we played those teams twice, so not a great, and this isn't an excuse, these are just not a great situation to try to bring freshmen along, to try to bring younger guys along. But now we've got 14 games in, like you said, sort of know who those guys are, who the, 2 to 3 guys are. Obviously, if we had Abe Kinraid back, it would help immensely, just because from a rotational standpoint, hey, Abe, you're going to give Nick his time. You get a 2-headed monster there. Mika and Keaton, can you sort of be the same thing, and then I try to figure out in the backcourt, all right, who are the 1 or 2 guys to go ahead and get those minutes. And, we so hopefully those things are going to happen here as we go forward, and we're going to be able to make progress in these last 10 games that way, because that is really important. That is part of the plan. And, we'll see how that goes. But I know we got to keep guys healthy. We got to, like I said, make sure in practice we're doing things to help Joe Octave and Mason and those guys, so they are getting a lot of those cracks, exactly game-like type practice situations. And, we'll go from there. So, it's what we have to do, and it's probably the point in time, 14 games in. I don't think in a normal year you probably play sometimes 11, 12 non-conference games, and that's about what it would be. And here we are, and we're going to go forward that way.
And then my follow-up is, it seems like the freedom of movement rule is called the first couple of games, and then as the season goes on, it doesn't. How much does that affect your offense? And do you talk to officials maybe even before the game like, hey, we move, we run a motion offense, my guys need to be able to cut?
You're not trying to get me in trouble here, right? And get me fined, are you, Rob? It's not going to work, Rob. But, freedom of movement, my issue with that whole terminology is, as we know, that is a quote-unquote point of emphasis. There's such interpretation in terms of what freedom of motion is. There's such interpretation, in terms of legal guarding position, when you're off the ball. Obviously, everybody knows we move this way, and it's just going to have to be one of those things where we keep getting better at it. We keep moving harder and faster. We get more physical and stronger. And, we got to concentrate on making ourselves play better and running our offense better, and have my attention and energy directed there and not in the freedom of movement type situation, because I don't know how productive that's going to be. You know what I mean? I know we can be productive in getting our guys to run our stuff harder, faster, know it better, and really know how important that is to us. You know what I mean? That's got to be what it is. Like, guys, this is who we are. We run our stuff. We run our stuff hard and fast. We do it every game. We never get away from that, because that's what we have to do to be the best Air Force can be, and we're still in that process. We're still in our guys learning that and really understanding it and having that become who and what Air Force basketball is. And I got to make sure I concentrate on that, and the freedom of movement thing will be the freedom of movement thing.
And if I could follow up, today's the 1-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's death. And I was wondering if you remember where you were when you learned that news, and
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I just looked this morning. I watched Snoop Dogg's tribute that he put out to him. I watched that this morning, and you know, we were in our practice gym at the University of Georgia, and you know, I forget whatever time, and somebody came running in and said, you know, Kobe Bryant just passed away. You know, and everybody was stone cold silent. Everybody was shook up. You know, and it is amazing. And I watched another one where someone asked him what, in some interview, what he wants his legacy to be or how he wanted to be remembered, you know, when he thought of Kobe Bryant. And I thought his answer was great. He said, you know, I want to be remembered as a guy. I'm thankful that I was given this talent, but I want to be remembered as a guy who had that kind of talent, but always fought tooth and nail like he was the 12th man on the team. You know, that he always had to go out there and fight for everything that he had. And when you put those two things together, you get a guy like Kobe Bryant. They're rare breeds. You know what I mean? They're guys who are, like I've said, ultimate competitors. You know, they play for one reason, and they play to get every ounce of whatever they have in them out of their bodies. You know, and there's a big mental part to that, obviously, and he had it. So it's a real shame. Obviously, he's not around because he could have continued to impart those things to, you know, younger generations, you know, to see. And we all know that's true about Jordan too, you know what I mean? It's like the great ones, Jerry Rice. I always remember I used to say this to our teams here, like, Jerry Rice is the greatest of all time. Well, you know, everybody says, you know, all they ever talk about is how he'd go run those hills in Mississippi and, like, be killing himself. And meanwhile, well, you know, that's why he's the greatest ever. You know, the guy who has that ability, who actually goes and does that as well. And that's what Kobe was, you know. So, you know, it's just like I said, he was a great competitor. He would have been good at anyone he chose. He would have been good at it because of that, you know, that mindset. And that's probably the ultimate tribute to him.
And then my last questions: have you coached at San Diego State at all? San Jose State? Have you coached there at all? In their gym, have you played?
Yeah. Are we playing? Are we playing there, Rob? I don't know where we're playing still.
I don't know. Are you?
I don't.
even know, to be perfectly
Well, we were supposed to be in Phoenix. Are we moving to San Jose? Because I just lifted it. But I just thought of that. You know, when I was at Denver, we were in the WAC. We won the WAC. You know, I played at San Jose, and you know, we beat them there. You know, we swept them that year. But you know, that's ancient history. But I have been there. But I think we are still trying to determine we think it's still in Phoenix, but I do know that California, whatever that county is, they just lifted their restrictions yesterday. So San Jose will be returning, you know, at some point here soon to San Jose.